Hi, I'm Tisha,
Lauren.
and this is the Open Booked podcast. Today, we are talking about Onyx Storm, the third in the Empyrean series. Lauren finally got her book delivered.
Beautiful. We did not get Target editions. It's a salty subject.
Target failed us all horribly, but that's for a different day.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's just forewarn. Obviously, we're going to spoil it. We spoil every book we talk about. There are so many layers and details and theories and questions. So much going on in this book. So, it may potentially turn into two parts, more than likely. But if so, obviously, we'll put that other part out next week. And yeah, I think that's it. So, what are you reading right now?
Onyx Storm again.
I think everybody's doing like 2 and 3 and 5 reads because there's
Yeah.
just so much to unravel.
I feel like I finished it. Okay, so you were ahead of me, and then I was ahead of you. I finished it first, maybe a couple hours before. And this is not usual. Usually Tisha kicks my ass. So I don't know this feeling. I'm not like super behind weeks or anything. It's usually like a few hours or a day, but I'm like, oh my god, I asked her like 3 times, have you finished it yet? Because I just needed to talk. I posted on Facebook. I was the first person I know to finish it. And then I just sit there and I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do with my life? I don't know. If you guys are watching this, you've obviously finished it. Or you don't care that it's getting spoiled. But the deal is, when you finish this book, you don't know what to do. I've seen on TikTok has the same looks, the same expressions. Like, what the actual fuck? She is the queen of the cliffhanger. Every book she's left us with one. My opinion, this one's the worst. I went into this book with 1,000 questions, got some of them answered, and came out with 2,000.
Yeah, so many questions. Because now I'm like thinking back to Iron Flame and Fourth Wing, and I'm like, wait, did I miss something? And then watching, of course, videos. And I love the way everybody has brought up Dylan from Fourth Wing.
Yep.
I'm like, I completely forgot about that guy. Sorry.
Yeah, so this is one thing I picked up when doing my rereads of Fourth Wing and Iron Flame prior to this book, is when you finish Iron Flame, obviously we're going to spoil all 3 books. Let's just say that, okay?
Yeah.
We're going to spoil all 3 books. I don't think anything we've said so far has been real spoilers, just that it's what the fucks, but this is your warning. We're going to talk some shit first, but things might get said in between. But the thing is, I picked up so much more knowing what happens at the end of Iron Flame, knowing Xaden's other signet, knowing all of these things throughout Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, because I knew what happened. So I think now, if we go through and reread Fourth Wing and Iron Flame again and Onyx Storm, we're going to pick up even more. I think this is just one of those series where she just layers in the Easter eggs so well, you don't know they're Easter eggs until you know the secret. Then you go back through and you get the light bulbs. That's my opinion.
For sure.
So I think there's a lot of answers to our questions, maybe not like officially confirmed, but context clues that can help us make better guesses. And you and I haven't talked about one of the theories that I'm going to talk about later on that I saw on TikTok just a couple minutes ago. I'm also going to say this, guys. Some of these theories are me making shit up. Some of these theories are not mine at all. I'm going to say that. Probably everyone has theories. People get territorial about them.
Yeah.
I don't care who gets credit. Theories are theories. We are all in this together. But I've already seen people being pissy about that. So, anyways, what are you reading?
I am listening to When Women Were Dragons, because Goodreads gives us those reading challenges. And I've read a lot of the books in those challenges, but because it wasn't this year or this month, it doesn't count it, fuckers. So this book is one of them, and it's really good. It's kind of historical fiction, obviously, with a scientific fiction, magic element to it, being dragons, but it sounds very clinical. I think that's a lot of just the way it's narrated, because I'm listening, of course, but it's also very interesting and very much of the women are magic and have been, through the ages. And they've always been told to hide it or tamper it because it's scary. So that's what
Yeah.
just kind of the history of women becoming dragons or just becoming too powerful.
Okay, so this time I'm looking and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Okay, I have found the challenges you speak of.
Mm-hmm.
And now my competitiveness says I cannot not get all these fucking bookmarks.
I was like,
then
fuck, why?
It tells you what books qualify for it, so that's how you found that book.
Yeah.
Okay. I've only gotten one so far, Buzzy Books, and I'm assuming that's for Onyx Storm.
I had it before Onyx Storm.
Okay, it's from, let me see.
I got it on the
Where the Crawdads Sing, The Housemaid, First Lie Wins, Silent Patient, The Fury. Like a ton of books I've read are in this category.
Yeah.
But it has to have been this year. So I'm assuming it's the Geneva Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, which we just did I just did rereads of.
Okay, yeah.
From Blood and Ash.
Of course, ACOTAR,
Mm-hmm.
Crescent City,
Butcher
from Blood
Blackbird.
and Ash.
Yeah.
The Never King.
The Knock 'em Out. Yeah.
Yeah. So
okay,
many.
Tons of these. This is our genre right here.
Yeah. Like, I've read half of these, but because it wasn't this year, it didn't count. So I'm like, I got to get one of them.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Now that I know, thanks for bringing that up.
Also, if you guys don't follow us on Goodreads, follow us.
Yeah, go follow us on Goodreads. We want more friends. Is this every month? Or that it resets?
I think it's like every 2 months or so.
Okay.
Because I think there's 6 of them so far. And then there's a special one each month. There's like...
Oh, it says 94 days left to get these 6 achievements.
Okay. So quarterly maybe?
Yeah. Oh, January 1st through April 30th.
Duh, it tells us. And then there's one. So there's also mystery ones. And it says, hint, celebrating Black History Month reveals February 1st. So we'll get new ones, I guess, every month. I don't know.
New ones every month, but you have so many days.
This one is another mystery. It says, hint, sugar and spice reveals on 2/5. So I'm sure it's got to do with like Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We love this.
Yeah.
Okay, should we talk some shit? Gossip? Yap?
Yes, because I went down the Candace Owens rabbit hole on this one last night.
Okay, so if you don't know what we're talking about, you don't know who Candace Owens is. She ran for president against Trump in 2020, right? She was one of the Republican people. Mm-hmm. She got famous for making a video. She is a Black woman walking through like the hood in a very nice get up, pretty much saying, I'm going to be your next president. I'm a woman. People have conflicted opinions on her. Yeah. What I will say is she has a very, very successful podcast and social media platform. When the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni drama started, of course she covers current events, news, things happening. She said what she thought, which was that there was an affair or something more going on because this felt too personal. Honestly, she says a lot of things about what she thinks, and I will say she usually ends up being right. I think she has a very good intuition, or just knows more than what we do. I don't know, but she is right a lot. I will say that. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, some anonymous source that worked on the set sends her stuff. Now, obviously, she's protecting this person's identity because, you know, Blake Lively's Khaleesi, and we wouldn't want this person to get burned with dragons. So anyways, this person pretty much confirmed that. Tell me what your black hole led you to, but mine pretty much led me to, she was like having the hots for him, and he didn't really reciprocate, and I think it like hurt her feelings. That's what I got out of it.
Yeah, she feels like a jilted lover, so she's like, well, fuck you, I'm gonna take you down. And of course, Ryan is very, very possessive and jealous. And that's why he started showing up on set. Wanted to watch the dailies. And then they had this huge blow up fight. And then he was there every single day for filming. And then he took over the whole campaigns and all of this stuff. So, and it was funny because I think it was Friday night I saw, and I might have sent it to you, a video where this woman's like, hear me out, because this is crazy. But I think, and I'll try to find it again and link it. She's like, I think between these text exchanges that we're seeing now, she's like, what if one night at midnight, 2 a.m., whatever, he gets a chance to respond to a text message And then she's asleep or something. And Ryan just picks up the phone and he's looking and he's like, what the actual fuck is this? Like all of the kind of innuendo in some of her messages, the winky faces, and all of this stuff. She's like, what if Ryan sees these text messages and he gets super jealous? He freaks out. He goes to the studio. He wants to see the dailies where he sees something he doesn't like, whether it's in Blake, whether it's in Justin, nobody will know. But they have the blow up fight, and then he's showing up every day. And I think that says a lot, both about Ryan and about Blake, and what they allow in their relationship and how possessive he is. So I think we're all seeing, because I mean, that's how he met Blake, is on the set of a movie, and that's how they fell in love. And that's how he met ScarJo. And she said in an interview a few years ago that their relationship didn't work because they were both up and coming stars. And there was a sense of competitiveness, and her career, she didn't say it, but alluded to the fact that her career might have been taking off a little bit more than his. And he didn't really appreciate that. So I guess we'll see.
A lot of people think that he cheated on her with Blake as well. Ryan has told the story about how, like, they actually, like, they were on the movie together, but they went on a double date with different people. And he said that he felt terrible for the other people because it was just them two talking the whole time. And I've always wondered who those other people were, but he said that on an interview. I saw it. That's why I'm like, oh, was it Scarlett Johansson? Like, or did they break up? And yeah, did they break up and it was somebody else? I don't know. But yeah, no, it's getting really dramatic, and I just want to say this. It's usually the women who have to be so outspokenly feminist, big bad queen bitch, boss bitch that have shit like that. I'm just saying. The ones who aren't saying anything usually are in healthy relationships and don't feel like they have anything to prove. It's the same thing with any situation you put it in. Usually the one who's crying from the mountaintops is the most guilty because they feel like they have something to prove, or they're overcompensating or something like that.
Yeah.
Which I find interesting. But yeah, no, I think we've very clearly set our stance as Team Justin here. And I want to say this too. I think it shows a lot about his character to allow this to happen in private. Let the movie have its run, get out on Netflix, and then the shit hits the fan. I wonder if that wouldn't have even been posted in the New York Times, like if she wouldn't have leaked her own complaint to them, that if he would have even sued her. Like, if he was just going to let it go because the purpose of the movie was domestic violence and he didn't want to take away from that. And right now, if I was Colleen Hoover, I'd be pissed. Number one, she's deactivated her social media. I don't know if you noticed that. I saw that. If I was her and this is the story of my life and it is turned into a Hollywood drama gossip fest, I would be livid. She has four other movies. Okay, we have Reminders of Him. We have Regretting You, Verity, all confirmed. And I thought I saw a fourth one that's up in the air, but I don't know. I can't remember. Oh, the pilot one that we love.
Oh, Ugly Love.
Ugly Love. I think I saw that one.
Yeah, they're all going to be out supposedly in the next year.
And we also have the second book to this, which I'm assuming we're never getting movie 2 at this, because everyone who's asked me about it that hasn't read the books, obviously, or they're going to talk to me about it, and I say, Ryle has to be in it. Part of that book, I get it, she's like, spoiler alert, she is not with him at the end of the book, or the movie, but he's still in it. Like,
I mean, they share a child. Like, he's got to be in her life as much as she hates it, and I can resonate with that. As much as you hate it, you have to do what's best for the child, and that's having both parents, whether they're good or not.
Yeah, so I just think we can all assume we're never going to get to see that, which is disappointing because I love Atlas and the actor that plays Atlas.
Yeah.
And I just don't think you could get this whole cast together. It's also been originally Colleen Hoover took Blake Lively's side, and then when the Justin Baldoni stuff came out, she is very much was like, this is taking away from domestic, whatever. Like, she made some sort of post that insinuated she's staying neutral, which in my opinion should have been what happened in the first place. But, you know, what do I know? So anyways, this is still ongoing. I'm sure it will be for many moons.
Yeah, they go to court February 12th, I think.
I guess we'll see what happens. Yeah, I think it's getting down and dirty now.
Yeah.
Okay, in other news, we have official executive order signed by the president to release the JFK, RFK, and MLK
Junior.
classified, Martin Luther King Jr., classified documents. So far, we have a little snippet. What I did think was cool, whether you guys like him or not, he gave the pen he signed that with to RFK Jr., which I'm sure this has been a passion thing for him, considering this was his dad and uncle. So I thought that was kind of cool. So far, what we've seen is for JFK, which in my opinion is the one that has the most conspiracy theories around it. I think MLK has some, but everyone is always, my entire life, I've heard about JFK conspiracy theories. So,
oh yeah.
So far, they have released some 12-page document. I didn't read it myself. I saw a couple TikToks on this, so I'm not going to take any credit. But it said that they had this operation, I can't remember what it was called, but that they were going to plant terrorist attacks and blame them on Cuba so that we could go to war with Cuba. Which, I'm shocked. Okay, I've been saying that that kind of shit goes on.
Oh, 100%.
I think you and I, tinfoil hats on, we have always thought that stuff is possible. In my opinion, this is the first time the government's actually confirmed that they had such plans, okay?
And I mean, the fact that these were supposed to be released 24 years ago now, and magically the 9/11 happened, taking out the section of the Pentagon that had these files just seems real convenient.
Yeah. What a coinkydink. Yeah, so the deal, how this connects to JFK, is he was the president at the time. This was not his plan. The plan was proposed to him, and he said no.
When somebody stands in your way, you gotta take them out.
Yep. Government mentality. So, I'm interested to see the rest. When he signed it, I think he just signed it like Thursday. And so I didn't know how fast it would come out.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's within a day that information came out. So, I'm excited to hear the rest. Not excited. I just think it would help a lot of people understand that some conspiracy theories are off the wall, I will admit. Some of them I literally laugh at, but I can appreciate people's creativity. And some of them have merit, okay? There's a lot of things that conspiracy theorists are getting proved right on. Aliens, COVID, I mean, come on. All that stuff got confirmed. It's facts. Yep. So I always like it when the underdog wins. And I think that's what's happening here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know, like, I had a personal experience, I had an instance last week on vacation with how much our beef with Cuba is. So when I hear this, I'm like, okay. So I was in St. Thomas, which is a U.S. Virgin Island. We took a boat one day to Jost Van Dyke, which is a British Virgin Island in Northern Ireland, okay? And the captain on our boat told us, if you buy any Cubans, smoke them there, and do not bring them back to the U.S. Virgin Islands, talking about cigars, okay? And, you know, Cuban cigars, if you don't know, are known to be the best cigars, right? They are illegal. True Cubans are illegal in the United States. Not because of weed or any it's because they hate us. And we hate them, apparently. I don't give a shit. But as a country, they hate Cuba, apparently. And I was like, that's interesting. He said there was like a 4-year period under Obama that you could get under $100 and bring it over. So he had a personal situation where he had a group of people at the British Virgin Islands. She bought Cubans to bring them back after the law was changed and had issues with the U.S. Border Patrol because she had brought some cigars. Not weed, not any illegal drug. It's literally cigars.
Wild.
I know. So then this happens and I'm like, man, well, obviously it was successful because I know for a fact that there's huge beef with Cuba. Like, huge beef. And we actually looked at going there because we really like Cuban food. And Havana just sounds like a cool place. There's a song about it, whatever. everything I read, it has like the top travel advisory for Americans. Like, don't go there. It's so cheap, but it looks beautiful. Great food, culture. I'm like, why do we have this beef? Like, I don't have a problem with them. I don't understand. But then this comes out, and I'm like, okay, this is maybe they knew that they were getting set up. Mm-hmm. And so that's why they hate. I would hate us too if we did that to a random country. But I don't know what's going on. I know that Cubans were very known in like mafia mob shit in Miami area, because Miami was specifically mentioned in this 12-page document.
Yeah, and it's still somewhat dangerous just to be in Miami near the ports, and if you're on a boat, like, it could be taken over at any time. That's wild.
Yeah, so it's interesting that this is back in the 60s.
Yeah.
And they're still ongoing. It just shows how, one thing can affect generations to come. Yeah, it's wild. I'm excited. I'm interested to hear more. I want to know the full story. So hopefully we get that soon. For them to declassify stuff on Martin Luther King Jr., there had to be more to it. I thought it was just a random racist person that shot him. That's what I was always, but...
No, I think he was becoming too influential and he was going to actually make positive change, and somebody didn't like that, so...
Yeah. I guess time will tell. Maybe we'll get some more alien info. Maybe we'll get the actual pictures from the ocean, not just Congress talking about it.
I've seen so many videos of the aliens, like, what did we do wrong? Like, we let them know we're here. Do they not like us?
Don't go over the South, guys. Don't go over the South. Don't go to the Gulf of America. Okay, should we get into Onyx Storm?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, we've already said this. We'll say it again. We are going to spoil the shit out of this book, Iron Flame, Fourth Wing, any interview Rebecca Yarros has ever done, any TikTok ever made. We are spoiling it, okay? Yep. This is your warning. Turn around and then come back once you finish it. Or if you don't give a shit, you're welcome to stay. These names are wild, and I call Thermopolis, because I cannot say her name.
Theophany.
Theophany. I'm sorry. Sorry, Rebecca. I absolutely love you, and this book is 5 stars, but that name is trash. Thermopolis. Okay, so I was telling Tisha before we started recording, I organized my notes very, very differently for this, because this is a special book.
Mm-hmm.
And my brain worked very differently on this one, because I wasn't just reading to enjoy, I'm reading to figure shit out. I am treating this like a fucking project that requires me to graduate, okay? Got the tabs in the book, I clipped things through the audiobook, I'm rereading on paper with stickies, okay? I am taking this very seriously, as I see on TikTok, Instagram, talking to Tisha, everyone is. Okay, so you have created, Rebecca, if you're listening, I hope you're listening, you have created a cult. And it's amazing. Yes. A very loving, welcoming, obsessed with Xaden cult. Especially venin jealous Xaden. I'm just gonna say, chef's kiss.
Yes.
Chef's kiss. Okay. So, the first category, which we've said this again, we might have to do 2 parts. Because of how this is separated. If we get to that point, we'll just say, okay, guys, we're going to call it for the day, and then we'll record next week. But I broke out all of the reveals in this book that I felt were significant. And I may have left some out. I may have put some in there that other people don't find significant. This is my personal opinion. The first biggest reveal was in chapter 12 when we found out that the marked ones have second signets. It hurt like hell to swallow and tell my husband that he was right. He has been preaching this, okay?
Yeah.
Say this right now. My husband was actually right about a lot. He's really smart when it comes to this stuff. And I hate to say it, but I'm really interested to hear his Onyx Storm theories after he's had some time to think, because like I said, he was right a lot.
Yeah.
Coming out of Iron Flame.
Yeah.
So, I know
I was like, let him figure it out on his own.
Yeah, she did. She texted me. She's like, fucking Jesse was right, or some shit like that. Okay, so that was the biggest reveal. Violet's ex being the prince. Okay, that kind of shocked me. When Auric made the comment when they were trying to figure out the password, and like there was something there that I was like, okay, they've obviously known each other a long time. And Dane was even like, they all knew that she dated him. At this point, I was like, oh, we're about to find out about an ex. That was a nice little Easter egg. Also, in Iron Flame, Xaden asks her, you know, I don't want to hear when they're arguing about Kat. She's like, I don't tell you about my exes. He's like, infantry, if I had to guess, or something like that. And in her mind, she's like, surprisingly kind of spot on, or something like that. And then the prince comes, and he's a douche, as expected. The way it sent me when he went to touch Violet and the shadows fucking... That just shows Xaden doesn't give a fuck if you're the prince of the fucking kingdom. Don't touch Violet.
Yes.
He was gonna touch her hair.
He's like, just the thought of it makes me want to do it again.
Yeah. Literally. Do I think that was the venin in him? No. I think that was just him being in love with her.
Oh, yeah.
Also, another note that I didn't put in here that I felt was a big reveal was that it seems like their relationship obviously felt much more serious in this book. We find out why at the end, but the amount of foreshadowing and comments he made about, like when they said the term girlfriend, and she says like, he's not my boyfriend, and Riddick goes or some shit like that, and he in her mind says like, yeah, that's much too casual for what we are. And then like all of these other like Duchess comments, like you can just tell the vibe in this book is much more serious, because in Iron Flame they were very clearly fighting most of the book because she felt so, I don't know, I feel like they're very, very clearly fighting.
They were fighting their emotional attraction because they're like, this is clearly something too deep for both of us right now.
Yes. So, yeah.
And then what's he call her at the aisle? Consort? She's like,
consort.
We are not.
Yeah.
He's like, well, it gets you in the door, so.
Yeah, no, and then, oh my god. We'll get to this part, but when he's at the dinner and they're talking about marriage, he's like, yeah, I agree, drop the papers, Sorengale, 2 R's, lifelong contract or whatever. I'm like, loved it. Yes. Loved it. Okay, Violet's, this is the next reveal. So we've talked about the 2 signets, we've talked about Violet's ex being the prince entering, also LOL at him being carried around in a basket. Nice touch, Rebecca.
I died.
Okay, now we're going to talk about Violet's second signet. This was the biggest thing coming into this book that readers wanted answered. Okay? Yeah. They wanted to know what it was. Especially since Rebecca Yarros, being the little teaser that she is, told us that it's happened. Okay, I'm conflicted on this. Okay, my first thought was, that's kind of weak. And then the Irids make the comment about the big power you've given her. Then the more I think about it, the more I realize she could touch and do shit. She could kill people in their sleep.
Yep.
And they wouldn't even know. It'd be undetected. Also, it's a form of intrinsic, so if she tells people, she dies. So it's another situation. She has to be quiet and pretend like she doesn't have a second signet. But also, I like that it's something that we haven't seen. I liked that it was something new that not everyone has. Like, she could bring out, they could do another shadow wielder, or she could be a, you know, it's just something new. It's something new. And I did like that. And then going back through and thinking, yes, she has had dreams before that seem like they're hers, but they're not. Yeah. And they very clearly talk about her nightmares that she struggles with. Yeah. And they're not hers. They're other people's. That's why she doesn't know how to control her ability yet. Yeah. But who's going to teach her, because she can't tell anyone. And now Xaden's MIA, so she's going to have to work with Andarna, Taryn, figure it out, I guess. If Andarna that's a question. Yeah, which the sage kind of addressed that. What did he say? He said something to the effect of, I thought you would be a quicker learner. And that's when, like, in the next dream, like, grabs she him. She can't wake herself up, so she's like, well, I'm gonna wake him up, and then it'll end the dream for both of us. Yeah, so he's a dream. That's what I've been seeing on TikTok a lot. I can't even just credit one person. Yeah. That he is a dream walker as well. and he's very, very good at it. And that's ultimately going to be how, I don't know, but then that, just me talking through this opens more questions that are on my notes.
Yes.
If she kills
every
him,
time.
does it kill all of them?
Exactly.
It might not. I think Auric
Yeah.
has, we'll get to theories, sorry, but I
Yeah.
think Auric has a master plan of, he says save Tyrandor, he drops hints, Auric knows what's going on. We
Oh, for
need
sure.
an Auric chapter. We don't need a Rhiannon, we need an Auric. No offense. I love Rhiannon. I need an Auric.
Yeah, I think even in place of the Imogen chapter, like the Imogen chapter just didn't make sense to me.
But I listened to this TikTok right before we started recording where someone laid out the Rhiannon chapter. They're all happening simultaneously.
Yeah.
Okay, so Violet, Xaden, Rhiannon, and Imogen all were happening simultaneously.
Mhm.
And if it was a movie, if they made this scene when they get to this in the TV show, it's going to be a lot clearer to see because you're going to be able to flip and see. Like they do that in movies all the time, like the Avengers. They're all fighting in different places and they bounce around, and it makes sense. In a book, it's hard. But this person does not think that the new brother is Garrick, Bodhi, or Ark. She thinks that it is God, I don't even remember who. Brennan. She thinks it's Brennan.
Brennan,
okay.
yeah.
Brennan is a big one I'm seeing now that people are digesting because I'll tell you her receipts. I need to find it and we can link it or whatever. But
yeah,
she says that in these different chapters, she lists every chapter and it mentions these people. Like it mentions Bodhi is hurling at the ground, retching. This is at the same by his dragon. Kath is cornered. Imogen is looking at the sky. All of these things are happening. She's looking at the sky, and Garrick is running a different direction. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So all of these are happening at the same time, and then this is when Xaden says he sees Imogen looking at the sky, and that's when he does his Onyx Storm so that Violet can kill Thermopolis. Okay? And so that is all happening at the same time. Everyone is accounted for, except we think Brennan's gone because he saved Mira. But I was like, what about the last chapter when Brennan's there and everybody's missing? Blah blah. This is what she thinks. The distraction. She thinks that they're all this. It's all this plan, right? That Auric is one of the missing people, which we agree he is. He has the dragon eggs. He was there with the quest squad and is going straight back to the Isle of the Dune worshippers to give those eggs because he knows they're the key. Okay, he also says you have to blah 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 to save Tyrandor. He says that. I think he's talking about intern Xaden. I think that's what that means. Okay, then Brennan is like trying to see what she remembers. It's the way she's portraying this. He's like, where's Xaden? Do you know where he's at? Like, he knows her more. Yeah. He's testing her to see if Imogen really did wipe her memory because he knows it's about to be a full-fledged investigation. Also, the lady that the TikToks you sent, she says that she doesn't think they're all dead. She thinks that all of the correspondence that's recovered is from the investigation. And Jasinia's just noting it all down, which I think is a really good theory.
I prefer that theory because it means they're all alive.
Yeah. No, I agree with that too. I'd never thought about that though. So
yeah,
I think it was interesting. Okay, we got off some topic on Violet's second signet. Okay, next big reveal. Papa Sorengale has some secrets. Which
too many.
I think which are still not answered, most of them, but I think we expected to hear more about Papa Sorengale this book with, the fable. Like, it's just been foreshadowed throughout both Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. But I still have a lot of questions about his name specifically.
Why did it change?
Why does it change?
A lot of people are saying that, like, because Xaden referenced it, he's like, I could take your name. Mm-hmm. Because you can take the name of the more powerful rider.
Yeah.
And he's like, I could take your name. And she's like, no.
Yeah.
So they think that Lilith's last name has always been her last name and he just took her last name. But I think it's more than just taking the last name. I think it's to somewhat hide himself.
Because that name is so well known.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was thinking too, but then for them to know about Violet, he had to have gone back over there after she was born. So did he just always use that name over there, but then only select people knew? Like oh my god, the moment
I
at the
think he just
top.
took her to all the islands
You think
with
she's
him.
touched by all of them?
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's a great theory.
Which would make sense why she can control the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And she is the very thing that she wields, which is power.
Mm-hmm. And this is on my questions list. Why was she the only one who could still communicate with her dragons on all the islands? I think that it's because Ondarna is just pure magic, which is what the Irids say, and the bond with Ondarna kept her bond with Terran in turn. Like, that's what I think. And the Irids are obviously in that neck of the woods, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, no. He's got some secrets. I think we're gonna hear more about that next book. I want to know about the grandma's secrets.
Same. And
Mira
why
obviously
it's such a big deal.
I think Mira knows a lot. Mira and Brennan's argument obviously got stopped by Xaden. I think Xaden was plotting this. I think Auric and him had talked prior, or he read Auric's intentions, or whatever, and they had concocted this plan, and he didn't want Violet to be privy to what Brennan and Mira were arguing about for her own protection.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he was like, get out, or whatever he said. I don't know. But everybody's got secrets. Also, the blade that he won back or got back, whatever, that was missing the stone and left. That's the stone on her ring. So obviously he had this planned.
Mm-hmm.
At least as a plan B.
Yeah.
Okay, next big revelation. Xaden's mom is an asshole.
Yes. Yes. She's an asshole, but she's also very ignorant.
I think she plays
just,
ignorant.
Yeah, that's possible. Because I don't know, she just feels very simple, like one dimensional as a character to be like, oh, I couldn't take you. Like he wouldn't let me. And Zane's like, well, you could have stayed. She's like, well, no, the country was at war. Then you don't leave a fucking child.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know. I don't like her. I didn't like her as soon as she ran up to meet them and she was like, Xaden? And Violet's like, the fuck?
She noticed by her looks, though. She noticed the resemblance a little bit. Yeah, no, she's an asshole. The chocolate cake, the memes about Garrick eating the chocolate cake are hilarious. Also, the fact they were just gonna let him die. What pieces of shit? As a test. What's up with these islands and all their fucking tests, dude? Like, insane.
I feel like that's very closely tied to religion.
Yeah. Yeah, they are very. This book did get a lot more about the gods and religion than the other two. The other two, I only really knew or heard about. I mean, I'm sure they talked about it, but like Malik, meet Malik and Dune, like because Dune was the god of war or battle or something like that. What's her actual? But the other gods are starting, like the god of luck and all that, are starting to get mentioned, and they were not. So I think it's interesting that we're starting to see more about that.
Yeah.
Okay, the next big revelation is when we go to the island of the Dune worshippers, and they have silver hair, and there's a girl with the hair exactly like Violet. This is also what Mira and Brennan were arguing about from the grandma. There's a lot of evidence in Lilith's diary that they probably should have burned, I think, that they kept, that says something about, I'll never forgive him for what he did to her. It was illegal to dedicate children to Dune. He tried to dedicate her to Dune, and she touched her, but didn't fully dedicate because her path was not set.
Yeah.
So she was just touched by the god. So that was, I say it was pretty confirmed. You feel safe saying that?
Oh, yeah.
The other gods are still questionable. I for sure think at least Malik.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that Xaden is touched by the god of love, and that's why her saying "I love you" pulls him out.
Yeah.
It saved him, and also why he keeps saying "You have my soul." He says it like 4 or 5 times in the book. I think somehow he either put his soul in that ring, or he put his soul somewhere, like used that god's help for that. I don't know. That's what I've been seeing, but it would make sense considering how he quit the Onyx Storm was her putting down the bond, I love you.
Yeah, because she says that, and then he's like, she is love. The bond that Violence and I have. What did he say specifically? Something like, the bond between Berwin and me is the kind that should never exist. The bond between Violence and me is the kind of magic that has no explanation.
I think they are actually mates.
Yeah, even though people argue, like, because Taryn told them basically, like, you guys are mates.
He did.
And she's like, well, humans don't have mates. And
it's like another reason they're inferior or something.
Yeah.
He did a sassy Taryn style. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that theory. I do think that they are mates. I'm interested to see how the bond works. I think that she's going to have to use her new second signet to communicate with him.
Yeah.
Even though he says, don't find me, you know the first thing that bitch is going to do is try to find him. So, I would too.
Yeah, and it makes sense that she would try to find him through his dreams. Because that's where they, like, yes, they spent a lot of time together, you know, on the natural realm, but they spent a lot of time together without even knowing it. And they were just magnetically drawn to each other in the dream realm. So, yeah.
Yeah, I guess we'll see, hopefully, in the next little bit. I will say this. In an interview, Rebecca Yarros did say pretty much she hasn't started writing it yet. She has it outlined.
She made the playlist.
She made the playlist, but she won't share it because the first song will give it away. Somebody we love will die. I'm assuming right off the butt. I'm assuming somebody who's missing is dead right now. And we just don't know it yet.
I hope it's not Riddick.
Everyone thinks it's Garrick.
That's what I'm thinking. Because he burned himself out.
Yeah.
To transport the eggs. To help Arik.
That's a really good theory. But yeah, I think one of the 6 missing riders, or 4 missing riders, is however many there are, is dead. Yeah, and I think you find out at the very beginning of whatever the next book is. She said she does a contemporary in between every Empyrean novel. So she's going to write the contemporary she's writing right now, spend the summer with her kids, and there's no deadline. That scares me. Yeah, I listened to that this morning. She said that herself in an interview. She knows what's going to happen. She's a planner. She's an outliner. She knows, but it's like all of the actual getting there, I'm sure, takes more than a couple months to write this kind of book. We got the first 2 books in the same year.
Yeah, and she said this one took 7 months.
Yeah.
And then she, in regards to the person we love dying, she said they won't make it in the 4th book.
Yeah, so they're already dead, and we just don't know.
Yeah, because I was like, okay, it's one thing to say they won't make it through the 4th book, but to not make it in the 4th book says everything we need to know straight from the horse's mouth.
Yep, and she likes Dane, so I think we can safely say it's not him. It might be Bodhi. It might be Bodhi.
It could
if
be.
He's not the brother. I don't know. We'll get to theories. We keep going back to our theories. Okay, next big reveal. Arik is precog. I just want to know how long he has been. It's obvious he has been. We know Xaden isn't in Tinzik, so he's known, which makes me think they've been plotting.
Yeah.
I think that's a great signet for him. He's a great character. I really like him, so I was excited about that.
Yeah. He's very honorable, but also will do what's needed.
Yeah, he won't hold his tongue back either, which I kind of like. But he can speak all the languages and be... I also thought it was funny that this whole time they have, like, somebody Dane there to translate or whatever, and Arik could speak the languages the whole time. It was like, you didn't ask. I'm like, you fucker!
He's like, also, it would have made his reason to be here null and void, so...
So that tells me he knew that he needed to be there. For some reason that we have not predetermined yet.
Other than to be there when she... It's like,
he
explained you perfectly, Dane Atos. Everybody's like,
Mira lost it, I died. Yeah, no, that was a great line, Rebecca. Yeah, no, great. So many one-liners, especially from Riddick this book. We've always loved Riddick, but he was extra funny this book. I have that in some of my favorite moments down later on. Okay, the next big reveal, the Maven, aka, you can say her name.
Theophany.
theophany. We originally thought the big reveal at the beginning was that they could wield. No one knew that they had their own signets, right? So they thought most of this book that she was the balance to Violet and a lightning wielder. But she's a storm wielder. She's actually the balance to Mama Sorengale, R.I.P. So,
or as she says, Lilith was the balance to me.
Yes, so that tells me she's older.
Yeah.
Than Lilith. We know she's a fallen priestess of Dune. We learn a lot about that stuff in this book, and I think that is meaningful to why Violet is the way that she is. But yeah, no, that was a big reveal. The tornadoes, man, like she's got some skills, and her storms
Lilith
can continue.
Could never do that.
No, Lilith could like do rain and sunshine and I think like basic storms, but she couldn't do like a lightning storm
or a tornado.
Or a tornado, yeah. Okay, next big reveal is just that Violet is married and has lost 12 hours of memories. People are missing. I genuinely thought I accidentally skipped a chapter. I genuinely thought I re-listened to the last hour after finishing immediately because I thought I missed something and I didn't. That's just how the end made me feel. We've kind of talked about some theories, but we'll get more into it in the next section. Darna's family is assholes in all capital letters, is what I put. Big reveal with that. There's several. We find the family. They're disappointed in her. The fact that she did not choose a feather tail absolutely fucking appalled them. Also, that she chose to do the black scales appalled them, which we know she wants to look like Taryn from Iron Flame because he's black and it's very precious. And the cutest thing that broke my heart was when she started to do her story time and just goes to tell them everything, and they were so fucking disappointed. Yes. And she was so excited to tell them her life story, and I just wanted to go and kill those dragons myself.
Yeah. How dare you make her feel bad?
Yeah. She's a baby.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah. And then, Darna leaves, comes back. We don't know if she's staying, if she came just to help. We don't know what happened with the Irids. We don't know what she learned. Time may work differently there. Maybe I don't know. There's a lot of questions around Darna as well. The biggest reveal, I think, at the very end, besides, the marriage and missing 12 hours, was that Panchek was the big betrayer the whole time.
Yep.
I knew it had to be somebody, but I thought it was going to be Melgren, TBA.
I did too.
I think that's what she wanted us to think.
Yeah. But, so what got me there is, obviously he's feeding the sage information on where they are, what they're doing, all these things. But he says to the sage, I'm the only one
who can help you see your son, or will let you see your son, right?
This is not what we agreed to. Later he says, did you not ask for power? Berwin asks Panchek. He says, have I not provided? Then Panchek says, put those away. We both know you're not going to hurt me. I'm the only one who can give you access to your son. And Berwin says, I have another. And then desiccates his dragon. And
then he dies. So, my question is he talking about initiates as like Jack Barlow? And then he has another talking about Xaden and whoever is the new brother. Or, because brother and son and shit is used out of context in this book.
And sibling.
Yeah. So it's like, who is who is Berwin's son? I have thought that Berwin is Papa Sorengale, which would explain his interest in Violet. Also, Thermopolis wants Violet so bad, and she very clearly says, and she didn't want to kill her, but then she says, I don't answer to that fool, talking about Berwin. So there's another general. Because Berwin's a general. We call him the Sage, but he said he was a general. So there's got to be another general. What if the other general is Papa Sorengale? And that's why she's like, wants to please him and get Violet so bad. What would make him happier? Or Naolin. I genuinely think Naolin is venin, and there's probably no one that convinced me he's not. Unless Rebecca Yarros tells me that he's not venin. I think he is. I think he is for... Also... In an interview, Rebecca Yarros is asked if Brennan's mark has anything to do with Naolan being venin, and she said, what, do you want me to just tell you the ending of the book? Or some shit like that. Yes, we want the book today. But anyways, that tells me there's more to it. She skirted around an answer by being sassy, which I love. But also, yeah, and okay, so I also read another thing. The marks they're referring to were from when Dane was touched by the venin and they tried to siphon from him. And Brennan obviously was resurrected and showed. They always thought that was a siphon mark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the rune. Yeah, everyone thought that was a siphon mark. But now people are thinking it's because they were touched by venin, not siphons.
Yeah.
Because Sloane touched both of them and didn't leave a mark.
Yeah. And the way it was said after, she's like, weird. They don't have a mark on the neck or the hand where she was siphoning. So.
Mm-hmm. The fact she made Violet mention it or say it tells me it's important.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, my biggest question, what the fuck is Panchek's signet? It's never mentioned.
It's not?
No, because Melgren has the ability to sense people's weakness, but Panchek doesn't have one.
And Melgren is outcomes of battle.
Oh, it was Varish that could detect people's weaknesses.
Yes.
Google says nothing.
I'm on the Empyrean Wiki. That's a thing. Panchek, signet unknown, status deceased. They updated this quick. You can click on every person and it tells you all their details. Allegiances, Navarre, venin. So is there venin at every for them to specify?
So the thing is, what is Panchek's signet? And that is how he is allowing Berwyn to connect to his son, whoever that is.
Mm-hmm.
So I almost think it's like something to do with like the afterlife.
Yeah. And is he saying I have another son, or is he saying I have another that will let me connect with my son?
Exactly. I was rereading it this morning. I just opened my Kindle app and I was like, wait a minute. Wait a fucking minute.
Okay.
So I think this is what everybody is missing. Because yeah, Panchek betrayed everybody and he's dead and good for him. But what the fuck was his signet that he was so important at the college and had all this?
To be commandant.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. I need to decompress. Y'all, the way this series has me in a chokehold like no other series ever has says something. And I'm not the only one, okay? This entire world is taken by the Empyrean series. Rebecca, I think this is like the next Harry Potter.
Oh yeah, easily.
Kidding. The series and everything that's coming, this is the next, this is our, I say, it's the new version of Harry Potter for us who were kids during that time.
Yeah.
Like, because it's very adult. If they don't make it adult, I will be disappointed because
so disappointed.
The scenes are great and you need to have the scenes. It's not too much either. It's not like a quart of, what is the last one? Silver Flames. That one's pretty much porn. This is a good balance of badass, good relationship, like awesome storyline, trying to figure it out, dragons,
chosen family.
Everything. Yes, they've created this squad. Honestly, if you play video games, you guys will know this. You get to do a clan tag, which is like 4 or 5 letters, where if you're playing someone else, you can see like that you guys are all a group together, that you're a squad. Jesse and I made ours Iron, so it shows we're like Iron Squad. Isn't that cute? I was like, my book people will get it. So anyways, but yeah, I just found this website. It's called the Empyrean Series.fandom.com, and you can click on each character, and it tells you like all their details, quotes. Like this one's kind of funny. Violet Sorengale, aliases, Duchess of Tyrandor. That cat on there quick. Yeah. Violence by Xaden. Love by Xaden. My Home by Xaden. Silver One by Tarn. The One Who Commands the Sky by venin. Mm-hmm. Silver-Haired Freak by Imogen. They're just funny. Okay, but then it says Servant of Dune. Touched by Dune. Anyways. Lightning Wielding. Dream Walking. It has it all on here. Location, Basgias War College, Ryerson House. status alive. I don't know. It has like all of these. It has all of these links and stuff too. Like this is actually a really great resource.
Have to dive in that.
Yeah, it'll be on our open booked history. That's the browser I'm in. Okay, so should we call it? We have look at our time, and then we have
Oh
the
my
other
gosh.
one too.
Yeah.
And we haven't gotten to questions, theories, moments that made me cry, or moments that I loved.
Gosh. Yeah.
We might have to do 3.
Maybe.
It's okay.
Or 4. We
We'll
could
figure
talk
it
for
out.
days.
We could talk for days. I literally sent Tisha a TikTok that was like this and Onyx Storm conspiracy theories, and it was like margaritas and triple dippers at Chili's. We need to make that happen.
Yes.
We need to get a group and just go. Because I love hearing what other people think too, because it makes me like that theory you just said to me that I lost my marbles for a second. Like I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we need to set something up.
All right. Well, I think that's it for today. We will be back next week with some questions, theories, and oh gosh, moments that made us cry, moments that we loved. So yeah, this could go on for weeks.
Yeah.
And the more we talk about it, the more we think of and the more we notice. And I'm probably going to reread it another 5 times before I feel like comfortable letting go of it until the next one comes out.
The book hangover is real, guys, to the point
yeah.
that you can't cure it, you just read it again. That's when you know you have a book that like got you. When you can't even read another book, you have to read the same one over again. Eventually I will calm down. I have listened to some other books, but I'm like I can't. Literally 99% of the time something about this book is in my head. And this, you know, if you guys aren't readers and you're listening to this just to support us because you like us, you don't get it, but like it genuinely consumes your life. And that's what's like, so magical about books.
It's almost like the first time you watch Inception and you're like,
yes,
I know I missed something or a lot of things. Let me rewatch it. It's like when you find a really great movie and you're like, oh, I got to rewatch that really quick. Like I got to figure more out. This is that. Yeah. 100%.
And it's just such likable characters all over the spectrum as far as we got comedy, we have serious, we have the grump, we have the little teenager. We have literally everything in one book. And Rebecca Yarros, you are a queen. We adore you. Seriously, like she has created this world for so many of us to escape reality in. And no, it's great. It's phenomenal. 10 out of 10, recommend. Yeah. So go follow our socials. We're sharing lots of videos that we think are possibilities or just completely off the wall. And then be sure to follow and subscribe because we put out new episodes every week. And we will talk to you guys later. Bye.